to shine. Give 'em what you got, baby. Time to show them you are. It's time to shine. Gotta give 'em what you got. Gotta show 'em you are.
Welcome, y'all. You are tuned into the Chix Podcast, where we bring you curated, authentic, Christ-centered realness every single week, baby. Listen, this week we are talking about, drum roll, please, brace yourself, just do something like romantic relationships. Whew, everybody just take a deep breath. Inhale.
Ooh, Jesus.
And exhale.
Lord help us.
I'm saying. This is going to be such a good series because we have two women that are married. I am divorced, others that are single. We have, some of us have just ended relationships. Some of us are embarking on new friendships. I mean, you have the whole mix here, y'all. Y'all have every single, perspective in the building to talk about romantic relationships. And so, of course, before we can even begin to dive into LOVE, we got to talk about you and your baggage. So
you and your baggage.
And I mean, we would all love to say that we are perfectly healthy and whole and we're not carrying anything, but that's just not true for anyone. We all have things, perspectives, experiences that have touched us, that have shifted us. And so that just becomes a part of who you are. And, baggage isn't always bad, but it's always present. So let's just get that out there right now that, baggage isn't always bad, but it is always present. You're always carrying something. You're always dealing with something and working through something. And so tonight, let me lower my voice. Tonight.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Tonight, we're going to talk about baggage, and we're going to kick it off with talking about emotional baggage, right? And past trauma and what that looks like. And so let's just dive right in, y'all. Like, when you hear the term emotional baggage, what does that mean to you? Like, what do you think about when you hear that? I mean, I think of so many things, but I'm going to let y'all go ahead and chime on in before I chime in, because I'm trying to really get ready to talk about my stuff with the world. So, so chime in. What is emotional baggage to you?
I'll start reluctantly. So I would say emotional baggage is emotional trauma that I have been through that I either don't have a clue how to let go of, or in a sense get healed of, or that I am holding on to as sort of like a security blanket, because I feel like, even though as dysfunctional as it sounds, I feel like if I can hold on to it and never forget it and brace myself, then it will never happen to me again, which is a lie from the pit of hell. But it is my emotional baggage. It's what I'm carrying. It's what I'm holding. And that's, in a sense, how I see it. So for starters, my 2 cents.
Vic, you said so much, like, right there. Like, man, that's like so true, how we hold on to things that it's not necessarily healthy, but because we're familiar, we'll just latch on because it becomes a part of us. Man, that's here we go, y'all. Are y'all listen? That's just the first step.
I'm glad I went first.
Oh, I can go next. Um, in my history, my history, y'all, that's crazy just to say that in general. You got a history?
Right.
How many guys you been talking to?
Quite a few.
And dragging your baggage with, okay?
Dragging it. I can't even believe that I said my history, y'all. That's just exactly Vic. Bag leg. Look at her. She's so woke. Anyway, singing Erica Badu.
Right.
But no. So in my history, and I'm proud of it, I have typically been what you call a runner. And one of Tiffany's friends, she did a series with, he kind of straight up laid my business out for the world. Well, people didn't know I asked the question, so now they know it was me. But he was just talking about, what did he say? I want to say it was something about unresolved trauma, and not because I know for me, I was saying I don't want to be with an unemotional man that can't be emotionally, who can't emotionally connect. And he basically broke that down and was like, so are you being emotionally available? And that's the part that was crazy to me, because I thought that I was being emotionally available. But it's like, soon as I hit this wall and someone's starting to act a certain way that I don't feel secure with, then the wall goes up, the emotional availability is gone. And generally, not too far after that, the relationship is dwindling or almost over. Even if it lingers on for a while, it was over though.
Yeah.
It's just lingering on because we've been around each other. We're used to each other. So I realized that I'm trying to get from people something that I do not have. I don't even want to admit that, y'all. I don't want to.
That's heavy.
But that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You want something from somebody you do not have. So go ahead and stay in therapy. You know, keyword stay, meaning we're in it. So that part.
Right. No, Angela, I think that's like so good. Like what you just saying, because when you were talking about wanting a man that's emotionally available, but it's like you want them to give something to you that you can't give. And it's like, and it seems like no matter what that is, we all are doing that, you know, in some way, because we want that from another person because we don't have it within ourselves in a way. You know what I mean? It's like, do this for me. You know what I'm saying? I want you to, this is where I lack, so you make it up. And it just doesn't work like that. And I feel like that is literally what my baggage was. It's like, do this so I don't have to do it. Okay. I want you to do all of this. So I don't, whatever I can't, you just do that. And you be that part for me. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. You have to be whole as well. And that's definitely, I feel that. Same. I feel that.
No, that's so like what you just said. So many women, so many of us, me included, we expect things from people to complete us or to make us feel better or to fill the void or the insecurity, whatever your thing is, if it's rejection or abandonment or, you know, fear or betrayal, like whatever your thing is, we want that person to come in and feel that so we can be okay. Not realizing that, baby girl, you need to be okay whether he does that or not. And when you see that, that's a trigger, like ding, ding, ding. Hey, that's a bag you need to unpack.
Yep.
You know
well, on top of that, Tiffany, then we lie and act like that's not what it is.
Yep.
Right. And then
what you just said, oh, I don't need no man to complete me. I don't need no man to make me feel. We'll say it in a heartbeat. No, good and well, You want that man to come and fill in the void for you.
Okay.
And you want to act like you don't. That's crazy. I'm screaming. Let me calm down. This is a good series. We only 9 minutes in.
But that all goes into us feeling like we have to look, feel, and act perfect. And look, feel, and act like we don't have any holes and we don't need anything filled because I'm all together. I got this. So all I need you is to be you. And in the midst of that, I'm praying and hoping and begging that you'll feel what I'm missing.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
And praying and hoping and begging that you don't see that I really have a hole here.
Come on.
Ooh.
Come on.
Even though you leaking everywhere, you're leaking water everywhere. Because the leaks is all the crap that you bring into the dude. That's the leaks. You know what I'm saying? So you leaking everywhere, making a mess.
A whole
Because you got all these holes in you that you don't want to act like they're there, and then blaming the guy when he's like, you bring all this mess. You're like, what? I ain't even doing nothing. You just bring all the mess.
Okay, and Vic said,
broken people, y'all. Broken. Holy broken people.
Absolutely. And I was gonna say, as a married woman of almost 15 years, coming into a marriage thinking, for me, I need someone to love me a certain way, to give me that love that I've been missing, probably that I didn't receive from my father, even though he's around. But it's just a certain type of love, especially women need. And I didn't get that. So going into a marriage expecting like, oh, I got my man now, that's what he's gonna bring. And I get married and be like, where you at? What? You're supposed to do this for me. You're supposed to provide this for me, and you're not doing it. You're my husband. So if you're not going to do it, then the only thing I can do is look within myself. Say, okay, even though, of course, he loves me, but it's not the love that I needed because I didn't love myself. I needed myself to love me. That's what I needed.
Wow.
But it took me to be married. Yes, that's what it took. When I said, okay, if he's not going to do it, somebody's got to do it. So it's got to be him. It's got to be me. I have to do that for myself.
And the problem is not everybody, but a lot of people don't see it that way. So they just continue to blame him. And then what happens?
Leaking.
Everything just unravels. And now what are you? You're single again. 2 people completely destroyed and single again because you were never full in the first place.
Wow.
Wow. And not realizing that you have to do that work.
Yeah.
Instead of continuing to count on him. And then when he doesn't give it to you, be like, well, I'm gone because you're not giving me what I need either. Let me go to somebody else and try to get it from him because somebody has it. No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't have it. Yeah.
That is so good. Like, they don't have it because it's within you. It's within us. And as we're all talking and cracking jokes about it, we are all pretty aware of our issue, our baggage, our stuff. And so what would you say, what got you to that place in that space of awareness, right? Because some women are probably listening and they're like, oh, I do that. I didn't even realize I was baggage, right? So how did you get to this place of awareness, about who you are and what you're really carrying in relationships?
Yeah, being married, like I said before, it took me to, I just lost my train of thought. Somebody else talk.
I was thinking for me, probably what I'll say, Lisa will bear witness with you, or Mike. I feel like I was unhappy in my relationship and I woke up one day, literally just woke up wait a minute, how did I get here? How did I get to this place in my relationship where I don't, feel loved like I want to, or whatever the case may be? And then I literally had to do a rewind in my head, in my brain, and figure out okay, well then this is how the relationship started. And then this is what happened. And then this is how this happened. And then I had to be so reflective in really thinking about all of the situations and circumstances. I had to really backtrack to see how I got exactly where I was. And I feel like that's when I had that aha moment. Wait a minute. Okay, you dived into this. situation, fresh off of another situation. You know what I mean? You never really got over that, and you swooped right in. Now now you're dealing with the same type of issues that you had already had. So it's like my way of moving through things. I wasn't clear at first, but then I just kind of had an aha moment, and that's when I started to really start to process, like, what's going on within you, girl? What's going on? Because it ain't all him.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just got it back too. Thank you, Ife, for taking over. So as a married woman, I knew that I have a good man. Like, I have no complaints about him. Of course, he's not perfect, but I'm not perfect. So I don't expect him to be perfect, but he is a good man. So for me to say he's not enough, then that's crazy on my part to say, okay, he's not doing enough for me. It's like, what do I expect him to do? I can't expect him to give me the world and everything to fill me. That's just not humanly possible for him to do that for me. So I would just look like pure idiot if I said, okay, I'm walking away from this because he's not good enough, because he's amazing. So that's when I just realized, like, yeah, you're not going to get certain things from him. So you need to figure this out and work on you. And then that caused me to look at past relationships and how I was in other relationships and what that void was that I was trying to fill. And it was very clear, very obvious. So that just put me into perspective, like, get yourself together in that area of love. And because, my husband may not always compliment me when I need to be complimented. He may miss that. So it's like, okay, I got to compliment myself. Girl, you look good today. You're beautiful. And I say it in front of him and he cracks up. I'll be like, dang, yes, I'm beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning it, and it's funny, but I had to do that for myself to just make myself feel better sometimes,
Sure.
Because he won't always do that. And that's okay. Because I know I don't always do it for him.
Yeah, I want to, I like the notion of like reflection for sure. I think taking the time to reflect and just looking at, I just notice patterns and like what I would keep running into or what I would heighten up and downplay at the same time. But really, it was me recognizing my own ego. I got a little ego and I got some pride. So how that plays in is I could shut it down before it gets started. So that's part of my package. Like, I could just, like, I do have a skill for starting people, but this is the downside of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course you'll see something in everyone. I see something myself, right? But weighing what I see, is this like something to avoid or block out, or is this something to work with? And I think that's, once I noticed that, like, girl, you don't really know. You don't know everything now. And so I think that's part of it, like just kind of reflecting on like why I made the decisions that I made and who I entertained and why I entertained them. I think it's what helped me kind of recognize like that's a little baggage there. There's some like rejection feelings with that attached to that, along with pride. And so you need to check again, do a double take before just shutting down before it even gets started. Yeah.
That's like so true. Like when you were talking, the first thing I thought for me was patterns. And then you said it. It was like, until I really just had a moment with myself and said, what do all these men have in common? Like they may all have different jobs and different things like that. But at the core of who they are, what do they have in common? And then why did I choose them? What about me said that's the one that you want to deal with or whatever? And so I think that, like you said, being reflective and, being honest with yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Like, stop it. Stop, y'all.
No, for real.
Tat, tat, tat. Stop. Like, because I mean, we all have it, and it's going to be a journey to like heal and to identify your baggage and kind of just put yourself in a space and a place of being open to authentic, healthy love, and realizing that for me in the past, from my personal perspective, like, you know, in this moment, I'm not trusting my judgment alone.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I know right now I am redefining like what a healthy relationship is. So I'll have conversations. Like I'll call Angela like, hey, I'm going crazy. Like, what does this mean? Because a former life, this would mean this, right? But that's based upon my perspective, right? And so for me, it's like, because I'm open to like, you know, people that I trust, their opinions about different things, you know, my therapist, I'm open to knowing that I have to redefine this, because what I once knew, it didn't work for me. Like I've been married, divorced, engaged, people, I mean, just, you know, a lot of situationships and relationships. I mean, you know, it's just been, you know, like that, right? But I'm at this point in my life now where I'm saying, Tiffany, what do you really want? And are you willing to do the work to get there?
Yeah, and in saying that, Tiffany, I would say you are, because of two things that you said. One, you are open, and two, you ask. And you have trusted people to ask. And that in itself is starting to trust yourself, because you're going outside the box of you and trying, you know what I'm saying? You're not sticking in the same box, because you stay in the same box, you're going to get the same thing. So yeah, I do think you're on the right road saying that. I think when I think about that question, I just remember a time in my life when I was younger, in my teens. I had a lot of friends. I was around a lot of guys because, like I said earlier, I had a twin brother. So all of his friends were my friends were his friends. And I just remember it's teen love. It wasn't deep or anything, but I would have boyfriend after boyfriend after boyfriend. But everybody knew Victoria was going to be with somebody for about 3 months, and then she was going to dump them and she was going to somebody else. And it got to the point, and I would leave them for no reason whatsoever. And I remember one specific guy. It was a good relationship. Everything was great. We were just having fun, just having a good old time. And literally, it's like I started to think about something I didn't like about him. And then I just focused on it until I was like, you know, Steve, this isn't working. And it's like, wait, what? Like he was like, thinking marriage, like, I love you, I want to be with you. I mean, he's young, you know what I'm saying, you know, but I love you, I want to be with you. What are you talking about? And I just was like, I don't think this is going to work, for no reason whatsoever, aside from the emotional trauma that I had gone through. And at that time, I didn't even realize it. I just felt like, no, this is just, I mean, he's not really that great anymore. And it was like, it took one guy to say to me, you about to be single for the rest of your life because you can't make up your mind and you can't stick with one thing. And he didn't know what he was saying, but it got me to start thinking, what's wrong? Like what's going on? And then the more I thought about it as years went along, I realized that it was trauma from my mother dying. And I felt like my mother just left me out of the blue. So subconsciously, I had this thought that everybody, friends, boyfriends, everybody was just going to leave me out of the blue. So that was my way of rectifying the situation. I'm going to leave you before you leave me so I don't get hurt. But the problem is, as years went on, now, you know, 30s, 20s, 30s, instead of even trying, I don't try because of subconsciously something going on the inside. So it's like it starts to evolve. Now, praise the Lord, I realize it now. Now I'm starting to take steps, therapist for one, friends for another. Like I'm starting to take steps, but it's all that emotional baggage that we don't even realize is a seed that starts, and then it just starts to just grow. And with what Tiffany said, once you become open, and once you're like, okay, I really want to hear the answer to this, and I'm not going to go within my 2 ears to figure it out. That's when things start to change. So, it's my 3 cents.
Ooh, that was good.
That was good.
Right, it was 3. Deep. It's a deep conversation, y'all.
No, it's so good. And I'm glad that we're having these moments of pause because we're saying so much good stuff that we just have to just really just kind of take it all in. And so I'm going to even throw it out to the other ladies. Like, what do you feel like you're doing to prepare yourself to be open, to be ready for love? And maybe not open to love. Maybe you're just ready to kind of release or identify some baggage. What are you doing to kind of prepare yourself?
I think for me, what I'm doing, one is I'm just watching my mouth because my mouth is just like, I don't, what you say is what you'll have, y'all. So
Right.
I I don't have good words for that part of my life. So I don't, I try not to speak too frequently because I don't want to put words out in the universe that I don't want for myself because God
Right.
has spoken some things to me already about myself and my future. And so if I take on the thoughts that I'm having that are based off of these bad situations, then I'm speaking against what God already said I'm going to have. So what I've been doing is watching my mouth and not putting things out. Tiffany, she's a romantic by nature.
I am.
So
I
she
love
is,
love.
she's a ladybug, okay? She's a ladybug. And she's just like, huh? I mean, she'll be going through hell and she'll get out and be like, what? You know,
Facts.
what are the boys doing?
Where the boys
And
at?
it's like, I don't care what the boys are doing. I got this whole little boys. What are boys? Just like I didn't erase them from life. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I'm just watching my mouth because I do want that, but I just don't. I just yeah, I just want it right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching my mouth. And then, of course, like I said earlier, going to therapy and working out things, that I have been through because I don't have the story of that's now. Let me just break this down real quick because people feel like, if you have a dad in your life, you don't have daddy issues. Let me help everybody in the club. It does not
Everybody in the
matter.
club.
Everybody. It does not matter. Dad in the house, dad out of the house has absolutely nothing to do with that. It has to do with whatever it is that you need from that parent. You know what I'm saying? And their ability to give it to you. And even if they can't give it to you, it's not because they don't want to. They may not have capacity to give it to you, right? So there's this hole that forms in you, likely off of that, if you have a parent that was at your house or in your life, right? So y'all, why y'all let me go down that rabbit trail like that? Now that I forgot where they where I was going. I know you were saying, oh, prepare myself. So going to therapy to unpack. Look at me. Them vitamins, they work. Going to therapy to unpack the things that have caused me to go into certain types of relationships over and over again. So yeah,
Yeah.
based off of what I didn't get from my, my father-daughter connection.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel I agree with that as well. Like in my own life, I look at the relationships that I've had and like what were my behaviors in those relationships that contributed to the demise of the relationship, or like what did I, not blaming myself for the loss of the relationship, but just more so thinking, okay, why did I need this person to do this for me? Where does that root really come from? Like what am I looking for seriously? Like really doing that work and really asking myself questions. And really sitting and waiting for the answer, like, and really thinking about the answer because I just really don't, I don't know. A lot of the times I don't know and I haven't asked myself those questions, so I have to do that.
Mhm. That's a good space to be in, Ife.
Yeah.
It's a space of discovery. And even though I feel like I have discovered some things, I'm still discovering and unfolding things. Like, and um, it's a little bit scarier now for me because I feel like I'm so much more aware and woke that it's like, oh, I gotta address this now. Like, like, oh, now I gotta unpack this bag. Like, but I think, I think it's all like a part of like our evolution, as a woman, independently. And I think it is really what causes us to be better lovers, better wives, better friends, just better overall. And this is a to be continued conversation because I feel like we've only like scratched the surface of love and baggage and relationships and all of the other things that intertwine together, that cause us to make the choices that we do, that cause us to have the expectation or lack of that we do, that just puts us in the space of wanting love, sometimes not wanting to do the work, and other times being open to it. And so I'll say, y'all better stay tuned because we are just warming up on the love series, on this relationship series for sure. And so Ife, they need to like connect with us and like be able to ask us some questions or kind of just, this should be more interactive, I feel like. So can you let them know how they can get connected to us and how they can reach out?
Most definitely. We definitely want you guys to, first of all, download this podcast on every streaming service that you use. But we want you to stay connected with us. Submit your questions, comments, concerns, anything. Catch us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at These Six Chicks. And then also follow our YouTube page. Subscribe to that. It is These Six Chicks Podcast. Okay? We definitely want you to check us out and continue listening in for the next episode. Is going to get so good as we continue on this journey of talking about romantic relationships. I'm so excited. I hope y'all are excited too. Thank you for joining us. Remember,
it's time to